So I'm very pleased to participate at the seminar today, and I thank you very much for invitation. It's the first time for me, and I am also very appreciate the nomination to be activist. So it's very important, a key issue in the human being to be active, not only in the heritage issue, also elsewhere in the human being's life. So I have been more or less active in heritage and city planning issues since 10 years. So my background is business and industrial business, so it's my second it's my hobby to participate, and later on I can little bit tell about why I have been involved at heritage issues. So I hope this is functioning. Yeah. Okay, I try to summarize my 10 years experience and giving also examples in what issues we have been heard, what are our success cases, and what are our key targets and most challenging issues in the city planning and heritage issues related to city planning. So I have summarizing 3 different levels of citizen activity. So going to the right, there are more important issues, talking about the money or complexity and people involved, etc. So the first level, the left one, in my mind, in my base, my experience are small issues. They are important from people's point of view, but there are a lot of them, and in the Turku environment we have very good practice and also tradition to fix these small issues around citizens' living places. I call it neighborhood fixings, and there are a lot of them, and it's very flexible to mail or phone to city or authorities, and it's quite high level of service. They fix issues independently. If they are costly, they have to spend money, but anyway, it's quite easy to get them and get citizens to be heard. The second, there are more decision makers involved. There are more money involved, and there are, I will call it, medium-sized issues. Let's say they are typically school systems, healthcare, and trees and all environment cleaning issues. There are normally city council, for example, for school system. There are politicians making decisions and authorities are implementing. There are a couple of examples. We have a good examples where we have been heard. Normally there are questions about saving money and common city plans and targets to get better profitability in the different functions. And the third one, it's the very heavy area, it's the city planning. There are powerful interest groups involved. There are constructors, property owners, property developers, and all business players. Of course, there are business involved also in the basic services and neighborhood fixings, but there are the big money and big profits normally involved. And that can be also analyzed by power point of view. So if we are looking about who has power in this decision maker area, the power balance is very heavily on the city politicians because by law cities have monopoly to make decisions what are common good, common benefits. And also there are very powerful group having idea to do business, and therefore they have very short-term targets to do business. And many city planning issues are very, very long-term issues. So this complexity has impact on the weak party's interest, and weak party I'm just calling citizens. Citizens have no organization, they have no normally profession, they have no money, they are totally voluntary, and they have to argue and be heard based on only to be existing. So decision makers, authorities and powerful business groups are very central decision makers, and they have the most important impact on that. And I could say that it's biased balance in that way. And question is how get better attractiveness of the city in that aspect. And attractiveness is we have looking from the citizens' point of view. If cities are asking in what kind of environment citizens will live in city, not move out or would like to get in. Families and adult people and young people and whatever. And next I could show some examples, practical examples in that small fixings and basic services and a big city planning issues. And I have here very small, or some very new pictures at the end. They are taken in the winter time, so they are a little bit different compared to summertime, but anyway, they are very informative. So it's going not so fast. Okay, this first one picture. They are typical street lighting system. We have around very rusty, old-fashioned, awful lighting system, and just having called to city authorities, they organized plan, and all old-fashioned, rusty lighting system was replaced by LED-based stainless steel system. It's very, very practically and very, very, very flexible done. It's cost money, it's not cheap, but anyway it was programmed in the city and they have taken it very actively. The second one is from neighboring fixing it's wintertime picture. It's the football field. It was created and developed based on initiative by citizens. And it was also very interesting because it's capable for disabled people having difficulties to see and walk their system. They can just play and look around in that area. So it was also not very cheap, and it was organized locally based on initiative of the people. The next level examples is here. It's a very typical Finnish wooden house. It's the elementary school. And in Turku city, elementary school or school council, which is consisting of the politicians, they have targets to save money. And idea was to consolidate tens of school buildings like this and concentrate on one bigger school. And these school buildings are very vital identity issues around the environment. There are families, they are moved in, There are daily and evening happenings organized there, and it was around a very big movement by citizens and families connected to these old, very nice and very good shape being buildings. And we calculate, for example, it's very typical for decision makers and management issue to make decision by sub-optimization. That's elementary school council and authorities calculated to save money. But what happens for people or families living there around local schools? They have daily twice carry kids to the 2 kilometers schools apart and pick up again. And what is the money used for? Time consumption, personal car usage, and increasing traffic jam in the critical times in the mornings and afternoons. And I calculate the cost for families. It was huge. So city would save money, but taxpayers, citizens would pay it by consuming more than city would get savings. And we managed to get these old buildings and local important school system existing. So it was very nice results. And third, the city planning, the third most important from money-wise and power point of view issue is that land usage and city planning. It is one of the highest hill in Turku. They are located Iron Age graves. Its citizens are about 20,000 around its park. It's a very nice nature. There are kids' gardens, elementary schools, and scouts are using that for practicing and nature watching and exercising. And city was planning supplementary construction in that area. And it was created a big movement of people, website addresses, and it was that's happening, that's pop-up activity which created, which was reason for my coming to the heritage issues, because I was one of the key persons to organize that big movement, and we had they have taken contacts to decision makers, political parties, and all people and organizations involved. Also that contractor which was planning to do that construction there. And we managed to save it, and it was very big its achievement because all were agreed in cabinets, all was made decision, it was only information to be heard issue. And nowadays it's not over, of course, because that's park and forest inside, green areas in the bigger cities are in all over the world difficulties in the supplementary construction issues. They are a trend in the world. The very actual issue in the third, I guess that many of you have heard about Turku is planning tram track line in Finland and Turku. It was before the oldest tram track line in Turku, but it was cancelled in the time where very more trend to cancel all over the European cities the tram system. And now it's planning again. But the problem is that this is example that one of the biggest park and exercise area in Turku. It's like in Helsinki Central Park. It's now one possibility is plan tram track line through this park. And we don't understand, and we haven't got any reasonable explanation why it is planned through the park. And we have an influence on the planning system now, so there are different alternatives now on the table as well. So let's see what will happen. But we are thinking that tram is not good in the forest. The birds and animals don't use tram, it's people and traffic who use that. So next I just summarize a couple of, by my experience, most important type of activities, how citizens could better be heard, and not only just to be heard, also how they could better influence what is happening. That's a little slow going, but it's functioning anyway. So, what citizens could do to be better heard? It's bottom up. I could say that, so dialogue is very important. Dialogue with political parties, they are the very issues, decision makers, authorities, interest organizations, specialist organizations, and business community. So as normal cooperation, open-minded networking and cooperation, so no one don't want to cooperate with people who are not cooperative and networking. So very important, I would like to emphasize really, citizens have to be organized. Pop-up activity is not enough. They are good to create new activities, but on the longer term it has to be some organization backing. It's getting better influence and having some backing organization in that way. Prepare well. Benchmark what is happening elsewhere in the world, in the different cities or different countries. And very important in my mind is that consistent way to be honest and emphasize common benefits. So city planning, there are not so many which are by the targets and their business are thinking according to common benefits. So it's most important emphasizing in citizen activity. And that's instead of sub-optimization. There are some compromise, but looking it from the common benefits, you are getting the solid base for lobbying. So you have to know what are your targets. It has to be determined and explicit, so at the same time. No, it is not only citizens have impact on that to be better heard. What can communities do to get feedback from taxpayers? Citizens are taxpayers, you know. So citizens have, communities has to organize cooperation. It can't be work well otherwise. So the dialogues should be enhanced, and very important issue is that all issues should be at the first beginning to be transparent and to open. Normally, very many times the plans are ready, they are presented, and even they have only one alternative. So there are no such kind of flexible way to look different alternatives. World is not so easy. There are always a lot of possibilities. And very important is from citizens and point of view is that not just to be listening, but taking into account in reality. So if there are not good examples that there are reality impacts, we have no choice to get good citizens' impact. So there are often lack of transparent and predictable planning. Too many times there are some ad hoc planning just at the moment forced by some separate interest parties. They are very, very bad from that balanced city planning. So I would emphasize also that citizens are paying the communities living. 80% of money revenues are coming from taxpayers. Why not listen and take into account who are paying all the business? And from city economy point of view, attractive city attracts attracts also citizens, taxpayers, and also high valued and modern business. They are more and more depending on the high qualified people. The third active part is, let's sum before going to national on and other parties' interest in to be heard. I would summarize here some potential threatening cultural heritage. What are very threatening in identity and attractiveness of city? So supplementary construction, so new building areas, and it's very easy to just build new buildings in the parks and old town supplementary construction. Second one issue, which is very, very problematic, and we are all the time discussing these issues, and also new streets and roads. They are very easily utilizing the free area. It's the parks and forest area. And it's all decreased the attractiveness of the city from citizen point of view. I just mentioned that tram track line, and there city and community has to be expand and grow and renew. And in many old cities anyway, there are a lot of brownfield areas to be used. And we have emphasized that all brownfield areas should be first utilized before thinking about the green areas to be used. Next, Finnish government can also do something for citizens. And my feelings and my proposal is that all city organizations, state authorities, should have more power to say what is the common goods and what is the common benefits. I mean that economy, EL center, in English economy, transport and environment center, they should be more appealing and more power in that city planning. The same is that in national board antiquities, it is very important, monopoly, as Heikki said, and it's very important because it's the only body having really power by law to supervise and prevent and take care about the good cultural heritage. And I'm asking why not other such kind of more powerful, impartial city or impartial national bodies could have the same role. Okay, times. So many important citizens are weak parties, and by law and practice should be taken it better into account. So the last, what is asked, what is my feelings to be activist? So as the whole, I'm very pleased to be activist because we have had impact on planning. Turku is supporting and organizing practices in order to enhance citizen activity. As my experience, the city authorities are doing very professional planning work. The problem is, after what we have planned, what will be implemented. When political compromises and money involved afterwards, it will be mixed with good ideas. So we have regular meetings, dialogue with authorities, and we have in that dialogue very vital and nice. So that's all. Thank you for attention.